Mom, Mom, I ain't been shot. Mom.
Hello, and welcome to Lard Island, the home of Too Fat Lardies.
And we're here today to talk about those questions that our itinerant hobbyist had on his review. Pardon my voice, but I seem to have a little frog in my throat, and I sound a little bit like an American trying to sound like an Englishman. Let's get to his questions now. What do they get? Let's go for the first question. Oh, shush. Would you shut up there, Mr. Itinerant? So let's go with the first question. What card do you use? Let me tell you, you can use an infantry card because that machine gun is an infantry. This infantry gun, the infantry gun, though, you could use a support weapon, but it doesn't really matter because it's just make sure you have a card. All right? Your blind question. Yes, you do have blinds moving correctly. There was a question about the blind moving to the building. I think Richard actually answered it. I don't think he understood my question, but yes, you can reserve dice for blinds. You can move with 1 dice, 2 dice, 3 dice, 4 dice, but it costs an action to get into the building. So this later on when I tried to go into the building, I moved my inches, and then I got to the building, and then I took the action off to get into the building, and then saved an action. So I was doing blinds correctly. It does not cost an action to save an action, so it doesn't cost you 2 actions. It just costs you your action you're saving. And sorry, I totally got out of character. So sorry. And let's see. I think that's all about blind movement like that. But let me show you another one here. So unlimbering, dismounting. That's weird. Dismounting. Gosh, you typed that in. Under a blind. Basically, when you reveal the blind, you can make your troops however you want it. So I could have done that blind like that next to the building, even possibly half in the building, and then the gun and the truck could be even unlimbered. The truck could be behind the building as long as everything's within 2 inches of that. The machine gun inside. Obviously, the truck can't be in the building. Although I could have put the infantry gun in the building if I had determined it was some way for them to get that in there. So I had done that. Right. Basically, when you reveal a blind, you make up the troops the way you want it. Spotting, I did not have correct. What I would do is... I don't know what I was doing, but basically what you do is it takes an action to spot. That's going to cause you to roll 2d6. If I want to allocate another action to it, I would add +1 to that spotting roll. If I wanted to allocate another action to it, that'd be +2. And another one, that'd be +3. So with 4 total actions in a turn, I could allocate all 4 dice to the spotting. One of those look at that cute doggy. One of those 2d6. One of those actions would give me the 2d6 to roll. The other 3 would add 3 to my spotting roll. That make sense? I hope so. On the tea break question, he said he probably would have had the ally rally in there beforehand. Moving in woods, he said that I did that right. I prorated, so I rolled. I had 4 movement left. It costs -2 to move through the woods. And actually, I should have done -1, I think, because it was under blinds. So he said that was okay, but in the rules, it says if you're moving into different kinds of terrain, you roll 1 movement die at a time. And I guess that's to get you up to those points. You don't have to do that. So it sounds like either way is right. And I think what you have to remember is in I Ain't Been Shot, Mom. In the previous version that I saw, version 2, a lot of the rules aren't explained verbatim. It's not a rules lawyer game, so it's not like ASL where everything's explained and worked out, which is great for that game. This is more of a game where, it's kind of, imagine if you just kind of got together and kind of made up a game, and you'd say, yeah, okay, it's going to cost 2 to get in here. It's going to cost 2 to spot, and it's going to be -1 because I moved, and +2 because I got a big man. And okay. So it's that kind of game. You don't have to go rules lawyer. So you have to kind of. But now I noticed that they put more detail in the 3rd version, and it's probably because people were asking for it. Actually, just adds a little bit more certainty. But then doing that also makes us, those of us guys who really go for those rule lawyer type games. I mean, I never want to call myself a rules lawyer, but you kind of have to be a little bit flexible and kind of roll with it a little bit. And that's why an umpire in this game is good, but, whatever. And oh, and the movement and support weapons, you can manhandle the guns. So you could have pushed them over there for some cost, but if you move them, they can't fire at all. Heavy machine guns can't move and fire either, but everything else can. I think that's it. All my questions, those were all answered by Rich and a lot of the guys on the Too Fat Lardies Yahoo group. So mygroups.yahoo.com / I don't know what it is, games, I don't know. Too Fat Lardies is the group. Very busy. It's got like 256,000 messages. It's a mess because it's all one. It's kind of like the games. It's a mess. It's just one big blob of things, and I say that complimentary. I hope everyone understands that. Been long enough. Let me get back to my rich advice. Well, maybe I should have him say goodbye just a minute.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, talking to answering itinerant hobbyist questions. And again, I apologize for my strange accent, but people always compliment me on my French accent, or English, English, American, being a Frenchman, playing an Englishman. Oh, I gotta go to the pub.